My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
Hey again, welcome back. Today a special guest zooming in from San Antonio, Texas. Mr. Paul Montelongo has been in real estate for quite some time. I believe, it's hard to believe, but I think 40 years, Paul, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's go with 45.
Wow. All right. Well,
I may as well own it, right?
It doesn't look like it, but yeah, you've been around this for a long time. And Paul is very, very experienced, especially in the multifamily space. He's very, very good when it comes to raising private capital. And today we're going to talk a little bit about personal branding for real estate investors and capital raisers. So Paul, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Glad to be here, Dave.
So first things first, just from a real estate perspective, these days, what are the primary assets that you and your company actually invest in, Paul?
Yeah, so primarily it's multifamily, Class Bs, Class A minuses, and we like the Texas market since that's where I'm from, although I do own assets in other states and will entertain assets in other states, but the primary focus is here in South Texas. And then in addition, we do some anything multi-unit. I call it multi-unit cash flowing properties with a potential upside in equity. So that could involve storage, which we've done, land development. And then we've just entered the world of data centers over the past 12 months. And so,
exciting.
Yeah, these are cash flowing assets. What I like about the data centers is that we get to own the underlying asset, the real estate, in addition to, or as well as the equipment, the functioning equipment in the data center. So that's a relatively new space for me. So, but it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for giving us a little snapshot of what you're up to. Now, I know over the last few years, some people in the multifamily space have taken a real kicking with interest rates and with all of those kind of things happening. Has that affected you guys very much, or were you able to kind of weather the storm? Because you've been around the block a few times before this, right, Paul?
Well, in terms of the existing deals that we have on the table right now, they've been okay.
Good.
And in terms of finding new deals, it's been much more challenging. Getting deals to pencil with whatever the prevailing interest rates were. All of my properties are agency debt loans, and so there's certain parameters there, and so it's been a little challenging to. Whereas we would have, a few years ago, we would have bought 4 or 5 deals a year. Now we're doing well if we buy 2. So we're buying 1 or 2 a year. And that's just really over the last 2 years. So we see 2026 in a very optimistic way. And I was just thinking today and telling one of my partners, I was like, I'm getting all kinds of deal flow from people I hadn't heard from in a while. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And I think, too, the deal flow is going into the more experienced operators is what I've observed as well. And I think with the certainty to close and the certainty of sticking to the price and not haggling and renegotiating a bunch, I think that bodes well for operators with experience.
Very good. Well, speaking of experience, I know you work with and you mentor and you coach a lot of newer operators, newer multifamily investors. And one of the things that you help them with is around raising capital and getting the word out and personal branding and that sort of thing. So we always love talking about different ways or different approaches to raising capital. So without giving away all of your secret sauce, but as much as possible, tell us a little bit about what branding means to you when it comes to your students, your mentees, and how that helps them.
Well, of course, this comes from my personal experience, and I don't look at it in the standard way that branding experts look at, if you will.
Well, I was suspecting not. That's why I'm curious to see what your definition is.
What my very first multi-unit deal, first of all, I've been doing this since I was 17 years old, flipping houses, single family, light commercial, that sort of thing. But my first multi-unit deal was in 2012, which in the big scheme of things wasn't that long ago. But I was, as part of the deal, as part of a sponsor, it was my responsibility to bring in $1.4 million on that transaction. And I thought, okay, this is great. This is a laydown. I can do this. I have a really deep Rolodex. I've had many businesses. I've got lots of contacts. Should be a slam dunk. I raised absolutely $0.
Yeah.
And the reason was, very specifically, people would tell me, you're a great guy, Paul. I know you from this other business or from these other businesses. I don't know you so much. And they didn't use these words, but they would say, I don't know you in this space.
Yeah, I don't know you as the apartment building guy.
I don't know you as the multi-unit guy, right?
Yeah.
The apartment guy. So, and I thought, okay, fair enough. And so I was able to partner with some people that were known as multifamily, multi-unit operators, and they literally raised that money in 9 days. Okay.
Wow.
So that was a huge lesson. I thought, okay, how could I be so well known in these other areas of my life and professionally and not be able to convert that into, liquidity,
Right.
okay? And the basic feedback was, let's see you have some track record here, and then we'll jump on, which many have, by the way.
Let's see you experiment with somebody else's money before I let mine. That's what they're thinking. Anyway.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, what's really going on? So then I went through a process of having to brand myself or make myself recognizable. So brand is kind of this, this buttercup.
Who knows what it means? Different things to different people.
But make myself recognizable in this space.
Yeah.
And you think about it. It's like when I work with students and mentoring students. The first thing I say is, okay, it's great that you want to do a deal and you've got a deal. So if you had a deal today and you had to go raise capital for it, where would you start? Well, I'd start with my family and friends. Okay, great. And if they wanted to check you out, how would they check you out? And then there's a big deer in the headlights look.
They know me. Why do they need to check me out? We already have that relationship, right?
Well, like, let's just use you and I as an example. It's like when we made arrangements to be on this show, it's like you researched me, I researched you. There's some information there that gave us a foundation to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then we meet, we talk, and everything either gets confirmed or denied. Yes?
Yeah.
So this is my perception of what branding is. It's recognizability in a space. And in today's world, the only place that you really get recognized at a large scale is with social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to do the things that may be very uncomfortable to you. Post the videos, post the memes, and show your properties, and show the networking events you've been to, and offer value in terms of steps and strategies and methodologies. You got to position yourself as someone who's deeply implanted in the space, so that when a new investor or a potential new investor gets your offering, because when they hang up the phone with you, they are immediately going to Google and searching who you are and where you've been. So it's positioning, it's recognizability, and the deeper the positioning, the deeper that of information that you've offered socially, the more credibility you will have. Now, what I've also find that's interesting is people will go the next step. They'll go further. They'll start doing some their version of background checks, their version of, has this person ever been in trouble?
Again, probably on Google.
What's their track record? And now with ChatGPT, I mean, just have a little fun with ChatGPT and those kinds of language learning models, and ChatGPT yourself.
Oh,
You'd be surprised what pleasantly surprised, I hope, that what comes up. So when I help people work through this recognizability aspect, it's like, okay, how do we position you as somebody that's just so credible visually, visibly, that you get to the next conversation? Yeah. Now you still got to prove the deal. You still got to show the underwriting. You still got to do the work that supports what people see. But they don't even give you a second chance unless there's some element of familiarity and recognizableness. Is that a word? Sure it is. In who you are and what you do. So that's what I call branding right now.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com.
That's a very good definition of it. That's a very useful definition of branding.
There are variances of it. You have a company name, you have company colors, and you have a website that reflects who you are. And yes, you want to have all of that. But the foundation of it is to make yourself visible. I can't tell you how many places I go where people are like I was on another show like yours, and before the show, the guy goes, "You're somebody. You're famous, aren't you?" And I'm like, I don't think so. I got a few views and I got a few followers.
Yeah.
But it was his perception. He was being sincere. It was his perception of the visibility that I presented. And fortunately, my wife is she's a marketing expert from the past, a corporate marketing expert. And so together we've made quite a splash social media wise to be able to give ourselves a seat at the table.
Nice. So when you're mentoring someone who's relatively new to the multi-unit space, and they don't have a heck of a lot of a track record, they don't have a bunch of deals to point to and that sort of thing, how do you recommend they get started with that personal branding if they can't point to this particular deal that they've already done?
Well, everyone has a message. Mm-hmm. And that message comes from your history. So at this point, my message is longevity, like my personal message. How does somebody hang out for 45 years in this space through all the ups and downs? Okay, so that I'm fortunate that at this moment, that's my message. That wasn't my message 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years.
No, you didn't have to worry about Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff.
That's right. So from your experience, from your history, work, family, socially, religiously, there's just like you've got a wide variety of experiences that we can draw from to create your message to the world, right? So again, I'll use myself as an example. If you do any kind of research on my wife and I, you'll see we're family people, we're athletes, we're active, we travel. We're always looking at deals. We take our little 7 and 8 year old granddaughters with us to walk apartment units. Like, we hope that the message that's conveyed to people that watch, and this is the feedback that we get, is that we're family people, we're centered, and we're in the business both feet in, not part-time. Right. So everyone has a history. Everyone can draw from that history. And what my job is with someone is to help them delve into that history and crystallize it into a particular message that they can use, that they can speak out
over and over again. Like it's about the repetition, right?
And that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Not only comfortable with, they feel empowered by.
So they don't feel like they're faking it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah.
Very, very good advice, Paul. So I've heard this feedback and I've heard this come out of my own mouth before. It's like, well, that's great for the younger folks that are all into this social media stuff, but I don't give a crap what somebody had for lunch yesterday. I don't like posting, blah, blah, blah. How do you kind of give people a friendly slap upside the head, get them doing something they can consistently do online? What kind of recommendations do you have, especially for folks in their 40s, 50s, 60s who aren't particularly active on social media already?
Stay there. Don't do anything. It's less competition for me. It's just another person I don't have to compete against.
Yeah.
I'm only slightly joking, not really. But anyway, the advice really is, the world changes. Like we're in the midst of a change right now, like this minute. If you're not using AI to the fullest extent, you're behind. You really are. And so in the early or the late 90s, there was this thing called the internet, and it was so intimidating to so many people. Well, people who adopted it look where they are now. So there's always change, and the individual, no matter what age, and this is another part of the message, I'll get there in a minute, but no matter what age, if they get with the change and embrace the change, they'll do fine. They'll do fine. And it's a very short learning curve, by the way. And so they just have to kind of get over themselves, right? So that's not like heavy duty clinical advice, but like advice. Get over yourself. But the other thing that we think that my wife and I are able to brand ourselves with, look, we're experienced citizens, okay? And we feel young, we're healthy, and we've made a conscious decision to not slack off. Like we're operating at a pace the same way or more, maybe, only smarter, I hope to think, than we were 10, 15, 20 years ago. So, and I think that's a good message for people. I hope that young people see that. I happen to have the privilege of mentoring quite a few young people, actually. And, my message is real simple. Get some really clean living habits, develop good discipline with your health, fitness, spirituality, family, and your business, your money, and be productive. Have a mission and be on that mission and get after it, and don't slack. It's a pretty simple formula to me.
That's beautiful, Paul. Well, thank you very much for sharing so generously about your thoughts and your approach to branding. I think that was probably the best definition I've heard, at least a heck of a long time. So thank you for that, and some concrete things that people can do. Yeah. So I'm sure there's going to be some folks interested in finding out more about Paul Montelongo and how they might be able to work with you. What should they do? Where's the best place to go?
Everything you can find out about me can be found at montelongocapital.com. All of my social media sites, ways to get a hold of me on my calendar, free resources, educational resources, descriptions of my programs, and then also a way to get a hold of me, just to book a Zoom to find out where you are. I do lots of discovery sessions with people. I just love doing that. If we get to work together, great. If we don't get to work together, I will give you something of value in that session. So montelongocapital.com, everything Paul Montelongo.
Beautiful. Paul, thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome, Dave. Take care.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.